So you're trying to hire a professional to service your aquarium here in Illinois, and it feels like a total lottery, right? You get one quote, then you get another, and the prices are just all over the map. What is going on? Well, let's dive in and clear up all that confusion for you. This is the big question, isn't it? You're looking at your amazing tank, you want the absolute best care for it, but the pricing just seems random. You start wondering, is one company trying to pull a fast one? Is another one cutting corners to give you that low price? It's a really common frustration, but you know what? The answer is actually pretty simple.
And that is exactly what we're going to do right now. We're going to give you the 3 essential keys to finally understand any quote you get. I promise, by the end of this, you'll be able to look at a price sheet and know exactly what you're paying for. No more guesswork.
Okay, let's start with the absolute fundamentals. Pretty much every quote you're ever going to get is built on 3 main things. Let's just call them the big 3. If you can get your head around these, you'll understand the vast majority of your bill. It's that simple. First up, and this one's probably no surprise to you, it's all about the size of your tank. It's the most obvious cost driver for a reason. I mean, a smaller tank is just less work, plain and simple. But when you start moving up into those medium and especially the large systems, you're not just dealing with more water. You're dealing with a way higher biological load, more complex filtration, and just more of everything. So here's the real takeaway on this one. You're not really paying for the volume of water. You're paying for the complexity of the system. A larger aquatic ecosystem is a lot more delicate, and it takes way more time and expertise to keep it stable and healthy. It's a simple rule, but it has the biggest impact on your final bill. Now, managing all that complexity brings us to our second core driver, how often they visit. And this one, well, it's all about the trade-offs. A one-off visit might seem like the cheapest option up front, but the risk of something going wrong between those long service gaps is way higher. A monthly plan? That's a pretty good balance for most people. But for the most consistent care and to really lower the risk of a costly emergency, a bi-weekly plan is usually the most stable choice. It might cost more overall, but it can provide much better long-term value. And the third major factor? Well, you know what they say in real estate. Location, location, location. If you're in a dense area like Chicagoland, you can pretty much expect to pay more. Service providers there have to deal with higher labor rates, way more travel times, sitting in traffic, and just simple supply and demand. Out in the more rural parts of the state, those costs tend to drop. And lucky for you, so does the price. Okay, so that's the big 3: size, frequency, and location. Got it. But what about all those other little charges that can pop up on a quote? Let's talk about the add-ons, the extra services that go beyond a basic cleaning and can really change that final number. Right, so a basic service fee usually doesn't cover the whole shebang. Think about it. Do you have live plants that need special trimming and care? Are you planning a filtration upgrade sometime soon? Things like advanced water testing, taking apart equipment for a deep cleaning, or tackling a serious algae problem. Those are often billed as separate add-ons. The key here is to always ask what's included in that base price. So now you've got the inside scoop on how these quotes are built. How do you actually use that knowledge to get a fair and accurate quote? Let's walk through the playbook, your guide to becoming a smart, confident shopper. You know, the best way to get a precise quote is to give them precise information. It just makes sense. Think of this as your pre-call checklist. Before you even pick up the phone, make sure you know your tank dimensions, your equipment setup, like the filter type and lighting, a rough count of your livestock, and what kind of service schedule you're thinking about. The more details you give them up front, the more accurate that quote is going to be. No surprises. All right, let's put this into practice. It's a simple 3-step game plan. First, audit your own setup using that checklist we just went over. Second, and this is absolutely critical, always get an itemized quote in writing. Don't just accept a single number. Ask them to break down the cost for labor, for parts, and for any travel fees. Finally, compare those detailed quotes side by side. And don't forget to ask about warranties on their work and the parts they use. You know, at the end of the day, this isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about finding the best value to make sure your aquarium isn't just surviving, but that it's actually thriving. So let's bring it all together. Okay, let's do a super quick rundown of the essentials. Remember the big 3: tank size, service frequency, and your location. Always ask about any extra service fees so you're not surprised later. Give them all the details about your setup for the most accurate quote. And please, always get an itemized written breakdown before you agree to anything. It's just smart.
So I'll leave you with one final thought. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge, I want you to take a fresh look at your own aquarium situation. After everything we've talked about, ask yourself this: is your aquarium really getting the best value for its care?
Thanks for tuning in.